Well, thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to just tell you about the Veterinary and Biomedical Sciences Department and the South Dakota Animal Disease Research and Diagnostic Laboratory. So for those of you that don't know exactly where we are in the north side of campus. Animal Science Department is here. This is Highway 14. I'll just point out there's two ways to get to our building. One is through the west route here, and this is for the diagnostic lab drop-off. We have a drop-off window here. And then our administrative entrance is through North Campus Drive, and this would be the east entrance for administration. This is what it looks like from our east entry, and this is our east entry. Rita Miller and Allie Dart are now behind plexiglass and face masks, but we have our doors locked, but at the same time, we are more than willing to bring you into the building, take you through. We just have to have a limited number of people there at a given time. So anyway, feel free to call us to get into the building. But in the meantime, we have this west entry with a drop-off window, and also we have a couple other drop-off areas, and I'll just show you here. This is the first samples were dropped off in December of 2019 at the drive-up window. We receive samples. We don't give anything out, so not like McDonald's. So anyway, but it's really good for biosecurity. I think we're probably the only veterinary lab that has a drop-off window. We wish we would have had it during the 2015 avian influenza outbreak. It would have been very helpful. So this is that area again with the drop-off window. And then this is what it really looks like from the outside. There's also behind number 1 here, this door, there is a drop-off area with there's a cooler in there for smaller samples, blood tubes, oral fluids, whatever you need to drop off. That's open all the time for after hours. And then there's a night drop for large animals here as well on that west side. Want to thank everyone in the swine industry for your support for our building. This was a long project. We had a new addition as well as a renovation of the current building. And the planning for this actually started in 2014. And we're pretty much done moving into now the renovated area. So it's been very useful and very helpful. And again, thank you for all the support on the swine industry side. So in our department, we have a model for our lab as well as our department, as well as research. The goal is to stay in contact with people out in the field. That's veterinarians, producers, biologics companies, any number of people to find out what issues, especially on the animal health side, they're dealing with, apply research to it, and then try to put solutions back into the field, whether that's diagnostic tests, vaccine development, other control methods, and so on. So I've seen this work over the years. I've actually been at SDSU since 1990s. This is work for PRRS, for PED, for any number of swine issues, as well as avian and other animal health issues. So a building is only as good as the people you put in it, and we've got a great team. These are our faculty. We have 16 faculty now. Some of the newest people that came, Dr. Jimmy Lin worked with Dr. Linda Safe at the Ohio State University on porcine coronaviruses, and then he also did a residency at Tufts, and he started with us this year. Very good, thorough pathologist. Dr. Ben Haas, who will be speaking next, I'll just give him an introduction quick now, but he came to us in March. He had spent a number of years at Kansas State University, and he was Vice President of Research Development and Diagnostics at Cambridge Technologies in Worthington, Minnesota. So he has a lot of autogenous vaccine development expertise. He's also the head of our virology section and has quite a major role in the research that we do. He also discovered influenza D in 2011. So he'll be talking to you a bit more after this on the metagenomic sequencing that he does, and as far as looking for emerging infectious diseases. Dr. Joyce Garaya, who does a lot of our bioinformatics too and microbiome work. And then Dr. Tamer Scherfelding, who came this summer as well. He has an avian specialty, but also works on the livestock end of things. And some of the people you probably already know, we have 5 pathologists, and Dr. Russ Daly, our extension veterinarian and state public health veterinarian, and can see who else we have up there. So it's a great team. Plus we've got 8 different sections. Within the laboratory, we have 60 full-time employees in the areas of virology, bacteriology, molecular diagnostics, ClinPath, parasitology, pathology, serology, food safety, and then in research. If you go to our website, you can see more of the tests that we do. Just go to the website. You can click on test fees and user guide. It will show all the porcine tests that we have. It's divided up into molecular and bacteriology. So you can click here and get a lot of information right off of our website. We are also part of the USDA National Animal Health Laboratory Network, or NALM. And we are one of 62 laboratories, so we've been prepared to test for any of these foreign animal diseases over the last several years. NALM was actually started in 2002, so we've actually been members since then, but we're able to test for African swine fever, classical swine fever, foot and mouth disease, swine influenza, and so on, as they're listed here. So right now, of interest maybe that we have an ASF active surveillance program ongoing now. That actually started in June of 2019. It's an enhanced surveillance program to serve as an early warning system. The only samples that we can actually collect right now for the active surveillance, and this is stated by USDA, are tonsil or spleen. So if we get those tissues in, along with 1 or more of these clinical signs or postmortem lesions, we can test it for African swine fever. And there's more information on our website as well on this. But both ASF and CSF tests would be conducted, negative results reported to the owner or veterinarian. No positive results go out from our lab. Everything has to be confirmed first at NBSL before anything can be reported if it was non-negative. But there is no cost to the client. Testing will be paid for by USDA, but a PIN premise ID number is required. So just so you're aware of a new program that's just starting up in fall right now, 2020, is the development and demonstration of a U.S. swine health improvement plan called U.S. SHIP, Swine Health Improvement Plan, modeled after the National Poultry Improvement Plan. And we've got Iowa State, South Dakota State University, University of Illinois, and University of Minnesota that are contributing on this, but it's meant to be an industry, state, and federal partnership. So the objective is to develop and implement a pilot ASF CSF monitored certification program modeled after the basic tenets of the NPIP H5H7 avian influenza monitored certification program. And of course, the NPIP health status, clean, monitored, and so on, are officially recognized standards of health. It demonstrates freedom of disease, and it can be for trade or non-trade impacting diseases. This is just a pilot study. So I just wanted you to know that there'll be a lot more information coming out about it, but just so you're aware of it. This one to start with is just for ASF and CSF, because of course those are very trade impacting. And it hopefully may be a way to demonstrate freedom of disease across regions. But again, more information to follow in the coming months. And there will be a questionnaire for people to have their input on it. So more to follow. So the other thing that's happening in the laboratory, of course, we're impacted by COVID-19 as well. And so a lot of veterinary laboratories, as part of the USDA National Animal Health Laboratory Network, were asked to test people for COVID-19. Actually, Oklahoma State University was one of the first back in, I believe, April. We actually started in August for student testing. We had to obtain a CLIA license. That's the Medicare type of license that's needed to test people. So we are one of the 22 non-laboratories that are testing total right now of about 611,000 human samples for COVID-19. This map was made, I think, last month, probably early last month, or maybe even more that are doing that. But just so you're aware, we are continuing on our animal health testing for sure, and it has not impacted that at all. We do receive our samples from students through a different entry area, so it doesn't cross over with any animal health samples. And it's certainly not as many samples as what we were used to on the outbreak situations with avian influenza or the porcine coronaviruses. So there are some confirmed cases of SARS-CoV-2 in animals, and there is a website on USDA website that will show what the current status is. Most of them are cats and dogs that have been in households with people that have been infected with COVID-19. The ones that are most severely affected are mink, and they can die from it. They're very susceptible. The cats and dogs typically have fairly mild symptoms. So again, we're used to the high outbreak situations. We've been through them before. So far, it's not like that in our lab currently. But the testing is being done by our molecular diagnostics section, for which we have over 50 real-time PCR tests and DNA sequencing. We run about 200,000 molecular tests each year, and within that section, we've got 7 microbiologists, senior microbiologists, or research associates. We are doing the testing in our biosafety level 3 lab. We don't necessarily need to do it there, but it was a great way to use it, and it keeps everything separate from any other testing that we do. So I'd like to acknowledge Mike Dunn and Travis Clement in our molecular section for doing the testing. And then John Gresseth, our IT administrator, who some of you may have talked to periodically on LIMS results for your own results, has been very helpful as well, because we only receive barcoded samples, so we don't get any personal information. And so the LIMS have to be hooked up between the student health clinic and us. So he's been a big part of that. As far as some of the research in this area, early on in April, some of you may know Dr. Diego Deal, who was a faculty member here from 2014 through 2019, had moved to Cornell University, and back in April, there were some tigers and lions from the Bronx Zoo who became ill with COVID-19. And at the time, there were no monoclonal antibody reagents for SARS-CoV-2. Well, we develop a lot of our own reagents here. And back in 2004, Dr. Eric Nelson and Dr. Ying Fang, who was here at the time, had made some monoclonal antibodies to SARS-CoV-1. And what they found was that digging out those old monoclonal antibodies, they did cross-react with SARS-CoV-2. So they sent Diego some of these old monoclonal antibodies, and he was able to stain the cells that actually grew the virus. And it's staining the virus here from these tigers. So right now we actually we're part of the Governor's Office of Economic Development Center for Biologics Research and Commercialization. And so we've made monoclonal antibodies now to SARS-CoV-2. They're just in the process of being characterized. There are some others out there now as well from other institutions or companies, but they're very useful, of course, in diagnostics. So we have those now available. I thought you might be interested. I think there's always that question about, does SARS-CoV-2 infect pigs? And of course, this is work that's been done at Kansas State, and they can work with COVID-19 in pigs there. And this is a great study. It just came out last month. So it's one of the more recent ones. Dr. Jürgen Richt is one of the major researchers there from K-State. But what they did find was that even after infecting 9 pigs with 10 to the 6 TCID50, which is a pretty big dose, giving it oral, intranasal, and intratracheal, they did not get any infection in these pigs, nor in any of the sentinels that they infected, nor did they get any antibody levels. And this was over a 21-day period of time. They did find in a couple different cell lines that are from pigs that it could grow in those, but really nothing within the pig itself. And this confirms some other studies that were done in Sweden and Germany as well. So that's good news. So again, just going back to the model that we use in our department and lab, one of the new things that we're starting, and Dr. Cassidy had mentioned this early on, we are starting a teaching program, a 2+2 program. University of Minnesota had asked us to, if we wanted to participate in this, where we would teach veterinary school to the first 2 years of veterinary school to 20 students per class. And then their last 2 years, they would finish their DVM degree at the University of Minnesota. So we think we can really do that here, especially with the models that we use, have the students learn field techniques, research techniques, diagnostic techniques, and so on. And then they would do that within their first 2 years here. So we're starting what's called a professional DVM program in veterinary medicine. We'll have our first class in fall of 2021. We have our own admissions committee with the same high standards that the University of Minnesota has for entrance of those vet students into the University of Minnesota. And so we are in the process of reviewing applicants now for the program. The goal and the reason that Dr. Trevor Ames had asked us originally to be part of this program, actually back in 2014, was because there's less and less students going into veterinary school that are interested in food animals, livestock, veterinary medicine. So I think we have a lot of great students in the animal science department in the state of South Dakota and surrounding area that are interested in that area. So it's called a rural veterinary medical program to be able to tap into those students that have an interest that would want to go into the program here. And it'll be quite a bit of hands-on experience with 20 students. There's less students to compete with and a lot of individual time. So I think it'll be a very good program. We did hire a director of the program, Dr. Gary Gaxsteader, who has vast experience. He actually is an animal science alumni from here at SDSU. I don't remember what year that was. It's been a while ago, but he got his PhD at Minnesota, his DVM at Iowa State University, and his MPH in Boston. And then he's been teaching the last several years at the Uniformed Services University in Maryland. He's also a colonel in the Air Force. So he's a great guy to work with, very nice. And he'll be the director and is now currently the director of our program. Dr. Jessie Juarez just started this year, and she's the coordinator for this program. And she came from Iowa State University, and she was teaching in the veterinary school there. So this is a blueprint of our building now. It's quite long with the new addition right here and the drive-up window there. This is the 1967 building, so there'll be offices for both researchers and teaching faculty up here. We converted a file room into a classroom and a storeroom into a classroom. And then we have our old necropsy floor, which will be our anatomy room, and then one lab for veterinary students. The rest of this area is all research. And there is some research and diagnostics, of course, going on in the new addition here. So these are just some pictures of the renovated area that will be used for some of our teaching. This is the old necropsy floor that's ready for anatomy students. And this is the entrance looking into the anatomy room there. This is the lab area for the veterinary students, and this is one of the classrooms. And then this is the locker area, and now we just need furniture for a lounge area. So if anyone wants a room named after themselves, if you donate some furniture, we might be able to do that. It's one of the classrooms. So there's plenty of giving opportunities for scholarships for students and so on. I would just recommend, if you have more interest in the program, please do contact us, myself or Dr. Gaxsteader, Mark Sandiger at the Alumni Foundation. But we're excited about the program starting. So thank you for your support and attention. And I think what I'll do, I'll just let Ben give his updates on his program that he's doing within our department, and then we can go on and ask if you have any questions. Hopefully that'll work for you, Ryan.